Friends, please subscribe, like, and comment. This is very important to us. Is your soulmate your biggest enemy? Secret relationship games. You meet someone, and it all starts like a movie. Butterflies in your stomach, intoxicating chemistry, a look that makes you lose touch with reality. You seem like two halves of a whole, a perfect puzzle. You think, this is it, the one, my destiny. And then a different movie begins. A thriller. First, small jabs, a phrase that hurt, a devaluing joke, a gradual withdrawal. You find yourself walking through a minefield, afraid to say too much, afraid to displease. You're constantly on edge. You're afraid not of him, but of a fight, afraid of losing that soulmate. And here arises a terrible, almost blasphemous question. What if the person closest to you has become your greatest enemy? Not literally, with a knife in his hand, but the enemy of your peace, your self-esteem, your very self? This doesn't mean he's a bad person. It means your relationship has become an arena for secret games. Games you play without even realizing it. Game 1, who's to blame? A classic example. Any conflict turns into a trial. The goal isn't to solve the problem, but to prove your innocence and assign blame. Example. You're tired after work. Set the table for dinner. He came home late, sat down at the table and ate silently. He left the dishes in the sink. You feel hurt. Instead of, I'm sad we didn't talk, you hear, you're not helping at all. You don't care. His response is a counterattack. I work hard all day and here you are, blaming me. You don't value me. Result? The problem isn't solved. Both feel like victims. Both are in the role of accusers. Instead of a team, you're the prosecutor and the defendant. And so it goes. Game 2, silent war. This is a cold war. After an argument, a deathly silence ensues. It can last for hours, even days. The goal is to force the other person to give in first, to demonstrate their strength through silence. You wait for them to come over and apologize. They wait for you to cool down and speak. The atmosphere in the apartment is icy. Every step, every sigh, every sound of a door slamming is a gunshot. You don't talk, but you're actively fighting. The one who holds out the longest wins. But both lose, because every day of silence is a brick in the wall between you. Game 3, guess what I feel? The most sophisticated game. One partner expects the other to become a psychic. They must guess the reason for their bad mood, their resentment, their desire. She sits stone-faced. He asks, what happened? The answer is, nothing. But it's clear from her tone and her gaze that a lot has happened. He must guess that she's offended by his joke he told her this morning. And if he doesn't guess, it means she doesn't love her. She doesn't feel it. It's a trap. The one who remains silent feels lonely and misunderstood. The one who tries to guess feels guilty and helpless. Love turns into a difficult test that's impossible to pass. Game 4, you must. A game of debt and obligation. Each person has a list in their head. What my partner should do for me. He should earn more. She should always look good. He should anticipate my desires. She should share all my interests. When a real person doesn't live up to this list, disappointment and anger set in. You start making demands. And demands are the killer of intimacy. You love not the person, but your fantasy of them. You fight with a real person to make them fictional. Why do we start these games? Because it's scary. We're afraid to be vulnerable. Saying, I'm hurt, means showing weakness. It's easier to attack. It's easier to be offended. We weren't taught to talk about feelings. We were taught to solve problems through conflict, through pressure. We drag behavior patterns from our parents into relationships. If our parents resolved everything by yelling, we'll yell. If by silence, we'll remain silent. We confuse love with possession. My person is my property. They must live up to my expectations. And when they don't, we declare war on them. How to stop the war and restore peace. Step 1. Recognize that you're in a game. Ask yourself honestly, are we currently solving a problem or figuring out who's right? If it's the latter, you're playing a game. Step 2. Shift to the language of feelings. This is the most important skill. Instead of "you forgot to take out the trash again," try saying, "I feel tired and lonely when I have to do all the housework. Let's discuss how we can divide it up." The phrase "I feel" is disarming. It doesn't accuse. It speaks to your feelings. It's hard to get angry at this. It's an invitation to dialogue, not war. Step 3. Stop mind reading. Agree on direct requests. "I need your support right now. Can you just give me a hug? It's important for me to spend time with you this weekend. Let's make plans." Step 4. Remember that you are a team. Your enemy is not your partner. Your enemy is the problem you're facing. Misunderstanding, fatigue, stress. Instead of fighting each other, unite against the problem. Ask not who's to blame, but how can we fix this together? Your significant other shouldn't be your enemy. They are your greatest ally in this difficult world. But this alliance must be built. Every day. No games. No wars. With the courage to be vulnerable and honest. Don't play against each other. Play as one team. Only then will your two halves come together to form a happy whole. You've already understood the rules of these destructive games. You've realized how they work. But knowledge alone is enough. You need a truce plan. How do you move from war to true peace? How do you turn an enemy back into an ally? It won't happen overnight. It's a journey. But every step will make you stronger. Step 5. Return to your roots. Remember that very first day. Your first meeting. What did you feel then? What admired you about each other? We often forget these moments under the weight of resentment. Sit down together and look at your first photos. Remember the funniest moments. This isn't nostalgia. It's a reboot. It's a reminder. This is an enemy, but a person with whom fate once brought you together. Step 6. Establish argumentation rules. Yes, argumentation rules are essential, like traffic rules. They prevent disasters. Agree on them in a calm moment. For example, don't resort to personal attacks. The phrase "you always" is off limits. Don't yell. If emotions run high, take a 15-minute timeout. Don't retreat into silence. Agree to discuss everything calmly an hour after the argument. These rules aren't a restriction of freedom. They're a safety net. You know that even in conflict, there are boundaries that shouldn't be crossed. Step 7. Learn to listen. Really, often we don't listen. We simply wait for our turn to speak. While our partner speaks, we prepare a counterargument. Try active listening techniques. When they speak, repeat in your own words, "Am I understanding correctly that you feel hurt because..." It seems strange at first, but it works. You're showing, "I'm not just hearing your words. I'm trying to understand your feelings." This magically diffuses conflict. Step 8. Allow yourselves to be imperfect. You are both human beings with your own weaknesses and imperfections. Stop demanding perfection. Allow yourself the right to make mistakes. Theirs and yours. Sometimes fatigue will take over. Sometimes you'll lose your temper. That's normal. It's not that you fight. What matters is how you make up. The ability to forgive is a key skill. Forgiving doesn't mean forgetting. It means understanding and giving a second chance. What to do if the games have gone too far. Sometimes you can't cope on your own. Resentments accumulate over the years. Words hurt too deeply. There's no shame in that. There comes a time when you need a third party, a professional helper. A family psychologist isn't a death sentence. They're like a trainer at the gym. They won't do the work for you, but they will show you the right techniques. They will teach you how to communicate without arguing. They will help you clear away the rubble of old grievances. Seeking a psychologist is an act of strength. Strong people who want to save the relationship. But what if your partner doesn't want to change? This is the most difficult case. You're willing to work, but they're not. You try to talk, but they avoid the conversation. What then? First, clearly state your position. Not an ultimatum, but request. "The way we communicate is hard for me. I want to change it. I need your help. Let's try." If there's no response, ask, "Do you want to save our relationship? Are you willing to work on it?" The answer may be painful, but it will provide clarity. Sometimes the only way to stop a war is to refuse to participate in it. You can't change the other person, but you can change your behavior. By stopping playing by the rules of conflict, you drain its energy. It may fade away on its own. The main secret: relationships aren't about finding the perfect partner. They're about building a shared world out of two different universes, each with its own laws, languages, and habits. Conflicts are inevitable, like the friction between two tectonic plates. But it is precisely this friction that gives birth to new land, mountains of understanding, and valleys of intimacy. Your partner is not your enemy. They are your teacher. They are a mirror that reveals your weaknesses, your fears and insecurities. Thanks to them, you can grow, become more tolerant, wiser, stronger, stop fighting, start negotiating, build bridges instead of walls. And then your other half will become not a battlefield, but the most reliable base in this world. War or peace, the choice is always yours. But remember, it takes two to make war. Peace only takes one who takes the first step. Take it today. Just say, let's start over. I hear you. These words can change everything. You've taken the first step. You've recognized the problem. But what next? How can we consolidate a peace so fragile after a long war? We need concrete tools, practical techniques that will help rebuild relationships day by day. The morning 5 minutes technique. Start your day not with your phone, but with eye contact. Just 5 minutes in the morning. Hug. Ask, how are your plans for the day? What's on your mind? Not for reporting purposes, but with genuine interest. This creates an emotional connection from the very morning. You start the day as a team, not like two ships in the fog. The honest chair method. Place a chair in the corner of the room. When you sense a conflict brewing, sit in it. The rule is simple. The speaker stands. The listener sits. This changes the dynamic. The one standing expresses their feelings in the first person. The one sitting simply listens, without objections. Then you switch. This physically helps you avoid interrupting and hear each other. The bedtime gratitude practice. Every night before going to bed, tell each other 3 simple things. 1. What am I grateful for today? 2. What was the best thing about me today thanks to you? 3. What do I appreciate about you right now? It will be awkward at first, but after a week, it will become a ritual that heals wounds better than any medicine. You fall asleep not with thoughts of grievances, but with a feeling of gratitude. The sharing fears game. Take 2 sheets of paper. Write down your 3 biggest fears in a relationship, not accusations. I'm afraid you'll always be like this, but actual fears. I'm afraid my love won't change you. Exchange sheets. Read them. Hug. You'll see that you both fear the same things. They just manifest themselves differently. A journal of shared victories. Get a notebook. Write down 1 small victory every day. Today we cooked dinner together. Even though we were both tired. Today we were able to calmly discuss the budget. Today we laughed at a joke. Reread this journal during difficult times. It will remind you have shared victories. This means there will be new ones. What to do with criticism. Criticism often becomes a weapon in war. Learn to turn it into requests. Instead of "you never wash the dishes," say, "I would be happy if you helped me with the dishes." Instead of "you're always late," say, "Spending time with you is important to me. Let's agree on punctuality." Criticism hurts. A request unites. It's the magic of simple words. How to manage personal boundaries. Peace in a relationship doesn't mean dissolving into each other. It's important to maintain your hobbies, friends, and personal space. Agree on time for yourself. On Tuesdays, I go to yoga. On Thursdays, I meet with friends. This isn't distancing. It's an opportunity to breathe and bring fresh energy into the relationship when you need outside help. If after a month of practice you realize that nothing is changing, the arguments continue. The resentments are piling up. Don't be afraid to ask for help. A family therapist isn't a disgrace. It's like a relationship coach. Sometimes you need an outside perspective to break the vicious cycle. The main thing is not to give up. The first weeks will be difficult. Old habits of yelling and being offended will return. like the craving for a cigarette when you quit smoking. It's important not to scold yourself for slip-ups. Just start again. Every evening, ask yourself, what was better today than yesterday? Even a small improvement is a victory. You are learning anew, like children taking their first steps. You fall, you get up, you move on. Your relationship is a garden. The war burned it, but now you're planting new seeds, watering them with attention. You protect us from storms with understanding. And one day your garden will bloom more luxuriantly than ever because you grew it together. From the ashes, you've come a long way, from the battlefield to the first seeds of peace. But the last step is the most important. How can this peace be made lasting? How can a fragile truce be transformed into an unbreakable alliance? Create new rituals. War leaves a void. Fill it with new, bright traditions. For example, Friday evening is a time for shared adventure. It doesn't have to be a trip to another city. Try a new recipe. Watch a movie that someone else chose without discussion. Go to an unfamiliar cafe. Sunday morning is an hour of revelation. Talk about things other than everyday life. About dreams. About books that have shaken you. About fears that hinder you. No judgment. No advice. Just listen. Rituals are a framework of your new relationships. They create a shared story that will gradually eclipse old grievances. Find a common enemy. Sounds paradoxical, but it works. Redirect the energy of conflict outward. Let it be a shared project. Renovation, travel planning, charity, learning a foreign language. When you face challenges together, rather than against each other, a true team bond is born. You feel like allies again. Just like at the beginning of your relationship, learn to truly forgive. Forgiveness isn't a one-time decision. It's a daily practice. Old resentments will return like a pesky fly. Instead of chasing them, acknowledge, yes, I was hurt, but I choose to move on. Keep a forgiveness journal. Briefly write down situations where you were able to let go of resentment. Over time, these entries will grow, and you'll notice yourself becoming freer. Celebrate progress. You become accustomed to only noticing failures, and small victories have gone unnoticed. Fix that. Didn't you fight over your scattered socks today? Celebrate that. Were you able to calmly discuss your finances? That's a victory. Praise each other. Say, I appreciate the way you listened to me today. Thank you for offering a solution rather than blaming. Positive reinforcement works wonders. What if one person is moving forward and the other isn't? It happens. You're ready to change, but your partner is stuck. Don't give up. Sometimes people need more time. Continue on your path. Your change is the best incentive for the other person. But if after a few months you don't see any reciprocal steps, ask an honest question. Is our path together still possible? Sometimes love is the courage to let go for your own survival. Your relationship is a living organism. It can't always be perfect. There will be days of fatigue, moments of misunderstanding. Just as nature has winter and summer, so too, relationships have different seasons. The main thing is not to start a war at the first sign of difficulty. Trust the world you've built, like a ship trusts its strong hull in a storm. The final chord. Your soulmate is not your enemy. They are your most honest mirror, your strictest teacher, and potentially your most loyal ally. War in relationships is always an escape from yourself. Peace is a courage to face your true self and to accept the other person for who they truly are. Choose peace every day, in every look, in every word, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. Your love is worth this work. You are worth this work. And one day you will look back and won't recognize those two enemies who once waged an endless war. You will see two wise warriors who learn to fight not against each other, but for their shared happiness. And that is the greatest victory of all.